All right. Welcome to Ballers Talk Q&A here in Svendborg after school.
After
That's
school.
after school. After school.
After school.
After school. Okay. So I'm Vincent Pervis. This is Alpha Jalloh, part of Ballers Talk International. And we're here to do a quick Q&A session with some of these players from Svendborg Extra School about whatever we want to talk about, fellas. So, floor is open. You got a question? Ask it.
Okay, I can start up. As a coach, what is the most important thing you look at in a young athlete or football player, part of like the the athletic part or the mental part, like both? What's the most important thing you look at?
My favorite thing to look at in this particular situation is if they're coachable. If when you say something to them, what is their response?
Yeah.
Is their response going to be, "Oh man, he keeps saying something to me," or is it, "You know what, coach? Yeah, I got it, and I'm going to do my best to get it right." Because one thing that I would say to you guys, if a coach if he's consistently on you and he's telling you something, that means he cares about you. What you should watch out is when he goes from speaking and saying things to you and he just stop. That means there's a problem. Same thing with your girlfriend. Same thing. If she keeps nagging you about something and she just stop, there's a problem.
Yeah, I would agree with Alpha. When it comes to coaching players, especially young players like yourselves who aren't really ingrained in American football, being coachable is all you really ask for. Is that you want a player who can learn and adapt when you need them to. You know, we don't expect you to know everything, but if I tell you something or if I teach you something, I expect you to take that information and apply it. And if you can't do that, it's just like anything else in life. Eventually, you're gonna get left behind. Eventually, like what Alpha said, coaches will stop teaching you because you're not giving them the same respect they're giving you with all the knowledge. So for me, I need a player to be coachable, and even more than that, I need a player that wants to be there. I know here you guys have a great community of players who you want to play American football. You want to have a good time. You have a good camaraderie. But a lot of times we run into youth players who are, entitled and expect that, they should get things just because they're on the team. And I think as long as a player understands that you can always be replaced. Even in small countries like Denmark, Finland, and Sweden, where we don't have a lot of players, you can be replaced. As long as players realize that and are coachable, they'll always have a place and somewhere to play American football. Next question. Everybody gets a question.
All right. So, what was your biggest challenge you had to overcome going to college?
Well, for me, going to college was a bit of a journey. So, kind of how some of you guys have some aspirations to play at the next level. My next level, I wanted to play Division One football. So my story, just to give a little bit of background on that, I had a few offers out of high school, but I couldn't accept them because in America you have to do one or two tests. One is called a ACT, the other one is called a SAT. In Maryland, where I'm from, we mainly take the SAT. So my grades was decent, and when you have decent grades, you only need to get a decent SAT score. But if you have good grades, you can get a bad SAT or ACT score. And my grades were decent, and I got a very poor SAT and ACT score. So the challenge that I had to face was I had to accept going to a Division III school before transferring and going to Division I. But still, even to go from the D3 school to Division I had challenges. I didn't come from a very rich family, not even barely middle class type family situation. So my family support wasn't necessarily there when it came to financial needs, financial means, rather, I should say. So I had to deal with all this in my head when I wanted to transfer from Division III to Division I, and I had a lot of complications that came with it. I had to still think about my family. I had to think about how it was going to affect my mom, finances. I had to continue to work hard, and that's the only thing that I had in me was a bit of work ethic. And my work ethic grew a lot more, but that's all I had. And that was a big challenge for me. I think about those moments um, during that time when I had to go there, and I think back like, man, I used to not think that my mom was there for me. My mom, she helped me a little bit with the money when it comes to like my insurance for when I had to do that, because I had to do that there, because I almost couldn't even try out to go there, and that's a big challenge as well when you have to become like a walk-on football player. There's two kind of walk-ons. There's a walk-on where the coaches, they know you that, oh, you good, hey, come on our team, you're not going to be on scholarship. Then this is the real walk-on, when you have to go to a tryout, compete in front of the coaches among a lot of players, and get on the football team. And when you have to go that route, they don't even know you. Most of the time when you come in on the team, you just a practice dummy. I'm gonna be real. That's how it is in a lot of situations. So I had to be that walk on trial type of person. And I earned my way up the depth chart. And that's what the challenges that I had to face. And I thought that this was kind of bad on me, but I was thinking like, I know the concept. You when you're a walk on guy like this, the trainers don't like you. The coaches look at you like, oh, you're a decent athlete, you're a practice dummy, and the players don't even really like you because you didn't come in with them how that family vibe. So I had to deal with a lot of that situation, but I persevered through it all.
My adversity was the exact opposite of Alpha's. I had to deal with. I had to get over being a cocky little shit. I came into college. I was on a full ride scholarship. I knew that wherever I was going to play, I was going to be on a full ride scholarship. I chose a school that allowed me to play the position I wanted to play instead of the position I was recruited for. I was recruited to play defensive back by multiple schools. Didn't want to play defensive back. One school said you can play defensive back or running back. Just come to our school. So that's the school I went to. And when I got there, I thought, I'm big man on campus. This school wants me. I'm going to be the next best thing. And they broke me on day one. When I first got there, they let me know that I'm not shit. I'll be lucky to even to have the scholarship the next year. I spent the next 3.5 years as a backup. Every offseason, the coaching staff threatened to change my position to defensive back, and I literally just had to fight through it every year to become better. By the time I was a junior, I became the starter. Once I became the starter, I never became the backup again. Things got better, uh, definitely with the ladies as well. Being a starter on a D1 campus has its benefits, but what I really learned from the lesson was that it doesn't really matter where you start. It really just matters if you stick with it. Because if you do, what I found out at the end of my journey was, as a freshman, sophomore, I was a backup. I didn't get a lot of playing time. I took mental reps, and I feel like I took a lot of shit from coaches. But when I became the starter, there was an amount of respect that the coaches had for me that other players envied. There was times where I was allowed, perks that as a freshman I never would have had. And also, if the coaches hadn't seen what I've been through, they never would have allowed me to have those perks. So it was, the victory is sweeter when you worked for it type of situation for me. And it allowed me to take that on with me in life. Whenever I'm doing something, whenever I'm attacking anything or I am challenged, I know that if I give my all, it'll be worth it in the end, and then I will reap the benefits of what I've sowed. So for me, that was my adversity, was getting over my ego and finding out, I ain't shit. And as long as I remember that every day, it'll make me strive to be better. Next question.
What's the most important thing you picked up from American football?
Man, honestly, I picked up a lot of life skills. Um, like the one thing that just immediately go to my head when you ask that question was thinking about my coach Wimbo in college. But there's so many other things that go along with it. But I'm gonna just stick with him, and I won't go very long. Um, coach Wimbo, he taught me a lot. He taught me how to go shopping. He told me how to become a better football player. He taught me how to watch film as a football athlete, and Then he blended all the things, like even spirituality. He taught me how to be a great man of God. He taught me how to be just a great human being. And some of those things I already learned. You hear the good things: be disciplined, be nice to people, be kind. But I had a coach, where he can do whatever he wanted, but he lived that lifestyle out. He was consistent. He dressed nice. He taught me how to dress nice as well. Not just shopping. I dressed nice. When I went to school my senior year, I wore I dressed up. I didn't wear a suit and tie all the time, but I wore a blazer, let it king out, look good, walked around, you know what I mean? I learned a lot of life skills along with them, with that. And it meant a lot to me. So, like, the experience that you get from the college coaches in America, if you blessed to have the opportunity where you have a great coach, is nothing that can compare to it. He's a guy who I love. We speak not as often as I would like to, but he's super busy and he gets back to me anytime. If I send him a message and he forgot, hey, I'm sorry, he got back to me a week later. He's that type of person. He sticks to his word. So I would just say that Coach Wimbo, he's a coach at, I believe, Northern Illinois right now. Coach Wimberly, that's his name. He's a great man. I vouch for that guy. And if I could write anything for a reference for him, he'll get that from me, but he doesn't need me in that area.
Yeah. For me, the most important thing I've learned from football is to embrace challenge. Similar to the story I just told about, my college career, football is the one sport. I don't care what anybody tries to say to knock it. It's the one sport where you cannot be perfect. It's physically impossible. No one can be perfect at everything or at some part of the game. Like, you will always be short of perfection, yet you're always chasing it. So it's a never ending cycle. It's one of those sports. A lot of people like different aspects of American football. Like, some people like to tackle, some people like to hit. I like the challenge. I like the fact that when I was a player, every play, if I know the play and the defender knows the play, I come from Texas. We all know we're running the ball. I know I'm running the ball. He knows I'm running the ball. I get the ball. What's going to happen? 1,000 different things could happen. That's how I'm going to find out what's going to happen the next time. And then the next time after that. And I'll never really know what or how it's going to end, but I do know that it's going to happen. And every time is going to be a new challenge, which means I can't get bored. Like when you play video games, you want to get to the end. You want to beat the game. And then it's like, oh, I got to get to a new one. Well, football is a game that you never have to get to a new one. It'll always give you a challenge. If you're a really good running back, change positions. Become a receiver. If you're a really good receiver, become a defensive back. Become an Alpha Jalloh. Become a returner and a quarterback. There's so many different things you can do. If you're really good at, catching the ball, become good at running with the ball. If you're good at tackling, become good at blocking. You can never really run out of things to improve at in American football. So the challenge of it is what has impacted me the most from the sport. Sorry for long answers, but I'm here to talk now, guys.
I know you have been here for a long time, yeah. But what do you think of the prospect team, like this stuff we do here?
Yeah, I can go. I mean, I think this is phenomenal. I think that, especially from hearing what people talked about DAF and the football culture in Denmark, and it's very similar to other football cultures around Europe, so don't think that you guys are the only people facing this. But to get to your question is, I think that what you guys have is an opportunity that other guys don't. Like, to think about Gustav, he's 18 right now, to be around Desi and be around the program for just 2.5 years and seeing how he played on a national team level is phenomenal. And I think that you guys being in this school as well helps you guys out even more, because you guys get to actually live this out and be around it and be so close to an everyday experience. Like, this is very similar to like college, like, and some very similar to what some private schools that have boarding school programs in America. So like the prospect thing, I think it's great. I think you guys should really appreciate it and embrace the the experience. Like, it's not gonna be perfect. You guys only been playing. Some guys only been playing football for about
4 weeks.
for weeks, half a year, and months. I mean, years. You know what I mean? It's a few years. So what I'm saying about that is one thing that my coach, another coach, Coach Gill, Turner Gill, he said, enjoy the college football experience. Enjoy the college football experience. So for you guys, enjoy this experience because you won't get it back. 5 years from now, you can look back this, man, I could appreciate this better, or you might be bitter about the situation, and you don't want to have that type of attitude. You want to have the attitude right here while you're currently here. I'm gonna work as hard as I can. I'm gonna get the best out of this because you guys not gonna be here for a long time. Most of you guys here for 2 years or 1 year at the maximum for some of you guys. So enjoy this process.
Um, I agree with everything Alpha said, and I'm really just gonna piggyback on what he said about like the college experience. You kind of are having that at a younger age here. You know, it's a little bit different, but you're you're being able to find out who you are, what you want to be. You know, we've done some interview with you guys, and we're very American like, so we're always asking, you know, do you want to go to college? Do you want to do this? And some of you guys were very frank about the fact that, you know, you enjoy playing football, but you're not 100% sure what you want to do in the future. And that right there is what I think is going to make this situation, Svendborg after school, the Prospect Academy, great, because you guys aren't being forced into something. You know, there's guys on the team who didn't originally come here for American football, who joined for American football. You're turning it into more of a family instead of what I would consider like Europeans do club ball, and then Americans kind of do over specialized training. You know, in the States, the sport is way more important than life or school. In Europe, I think the club mentality is way more important than player development. Here, you're getting a real good blend of both, and you don't have to wait until you're in your mid 20s and getting drunk at college. And I think that's something that is unique, special, something I don't see in many places. And I'm really glad to have been able to experience this and see you guys firsthand. And I'm not even talking football wise. Football wise, y'all are okay. That's about it. But that's not really what it's about. And I think I've said that before. Even American football, it's about the challenge and getting better. And what I've really noticed football wise is the intelligence that you guys have shown. A lot of you have, like what Alpha said, less than 2 years of American football experience. Yet the concept that Desi is teaching are high school level concepts, high school, even lower college level. Most American kids would not be able to pick it up at the speed that you do. And especially with the amount of time that you actually have for the sport, you guys are on a fast track to being really knowledgeable and probably really good football players. So I think this whole academy is an awesome idea. Next question.
Some people have a story about why they chose their number on the jersey. So what's your guys' story?
And mine is very simple. I love Kobe Bryant. Um, I do. I love Kobe Bryant, and when he passed away, you know, his jersey number 8 was the only single digit. I didn't want to wear 24, number 8. And one of my trainers, his name is Coach Coleman, he taught me a lot more about work ethic. And when I started thinking about work ethic, Kobe Bryant was the person who had the best work ethic. So I tried to embrace that um, around my college time. And when he passed away, I was looking at so many videos of him before, diving into his mindset. His death like bothered me a lot, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take on this number, and I'm gonna embrace this number, and I'm gonna make sure that I wear his number proud as a. You say the word tribute to Kobe Bryant?
Tribute.
That's the right word. I thought I was gonna say the wrong word. That's why I wear jersey number 8.
This is tough for me because I wear jersey number 24. It has nothing to do with fucking Kobe Bryant. No disrespect.
Hey,
No disrespect whatsoever to Kobe Bryant. But before Kobe Bryant changed his number, I was number 24. So it has nothing to do with that. And the thing is, now everyone has associated 8 and 24 with Kobe Bryant, Whenever people see my necklace, they think, "Oh, is that for Kobe?" No offense, I think Black Mamba was great, but I was the first 24. He stole it from me. Him doing 24 hours a day was based on my life story. Actually, that's not true at all. When I was in 10th grade, I got put on varsity. I wanted a single digit number. The lowest they had was 9. Someone else had it. They gave me number 24, so I wore it through high school. I got to college. I told the coach I wanted number 5. I went to go look in my locker room. I was number 24. I've been number 24 ever since. I just stuck with it. It didn't have a lot of relevance or anything with me, but it fit me. I was a running back slash defensive back, so number 24 goes. Only time it didn't look good was when I played quarterback a few times. But other than that, that's why I got the number. Next question. No, none over here?
Well, I I had some coaches tell me I need a purpose why to play football, and some coaches say a purpose to play football is one of the most important things. So, what is your guys' purpose? We heard a little about your purpose why you play football, but what is your purpose? And do you think it's an important thing to have a purpose?
I think my purpose, like I said earlier, is I enjoy the challenge of football. But I would say at this point in my life, my purpose of football is to help the game however I can, whether that be, playing at certain times. I play a little flag football, get a little exposure. Or if it's coaching, running camps, working for companies that help get players from Europe into the United States. My purpose is to help the game grow the best that I can do.
I think I could take over a little bit with this, because I think like more you should have some goals when it comes to playing American football. I think not even just that, anything that you do. For example, some guys, if you plan for a few weeks, as I said earlier, you should take some small win goals. I don't think that it would be kind of unrealistic to think I've been playing for a few weeks. I want to play college football. You barely even know football. You haven't even gotten inside the game yet. You know what I mean? I think your goal should be like having a purpose at the moment is structured around discipline in life. So having a goal will be setting, okay, I'm playing for 4 weeks. I want to make the starting lineup. I want to, when I do get on the field, because I'm not a starter, I want to have a few catches if I'm a receiver. If I'm a defensive back, when I get on the field, I want to get in on a tackle. I want to get to the ball as fast as possible and make a tackle. When you guys get the point what I'm saying right now. So that should be like some small little things right there. Then once you become good and you think that you like the sport, then it can grow to like a bigger purpose. I'm doing this because I want to get this place, but also enjoy it at the same time. Like, yeah, I really want to win and things like that, but I embrace what my coach told me, enjoy the college football experience. When I've been playing football in Europe, man, I enjoy it. I love to get on the field. I love to go to practice too. Some guys don't like practice. I love practice. I like to be there. I love to compete. I love to compete. So I know some people may not have that same energy. I just want to play in the games. That's you. I want to compete and I want to be great and I want to embarrass the person across from me. And I enjoy that. And that hasn't gone from me. So some of that fire that can burn into a purpose. So have some small goals. And I think that will help you out in football.
I just want to add on there. I don't know who the coach was that you were speaking to that told you, you got to have this purpose or do this. I have a little bit different philosophy on it, even from what Alpha just said. I don't necessarily believe that if you're starting out in football, like a lot of you guys are, that you need to have, like, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to get this accomplished. I told you about my story of when I first got the football in the game. Ran the wrong way, 100 yards. I was 6 years old when I started playing football. My mom took me to a practice. She said, get in the car. I got in the car. 30 minutes later, somebody was putting a football helmet on me. Had no idea what was going on. They asked me what position you want to play. I thought they said quarterback. I raised my hand. I was playing cornerback because I didn't hear them. So I played cornerback for like 3 or 4 years. I was 10 years old before I actually knew what football was. It took me 4 years to know what I was actually doing. So if I had a purpose, that would not have made any sense. But once I figured out what I was doing, I was able to turn that into a focus, and then I became a football player. Went Division 1, played internationally, coached internationally, traveled the world. Now able to help bring other people to that level. I wouldn't force or expect anyone right away to have a purpose. I would say that if you're gonna play this game, just like any game, enjoy it because that's what you're doing it for. If you're enjoying it, the purpose of why you're doing it or what you want to accomplish will come later. But if you don't enjoy it, if you only want to get something done, you'll hate it. It'll become a job. And your parents will tell you, nobody wants a job. That's not what you want. So I would just say, rather than have a purpose, enjoy what you're doing. And from what I've got for you guys, y'all having a good time. So y'all are on the right path, and your purpose will come when it hits you, what you want to get done. All right, we got time for one more question.
I think you have one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Why did you choose football? Why not baseball or basketball?
I did choose baseball. What you mean? I was 4 when I started playing baseball. I asked my mom, like, hey, I want to go play baseball. I went to go play baseball.
And you knew what that was.
I knew exactly what baseball was. I'm from Texas. That's where all the quarterbacks and pitchers come from. I was a third baseman. Y'all seen this rocket on my shoulder. I always wanted to be a baseball player. I didn't have the opportunity to play soccer because in Texas, soccer and football play at the same time. And my mom put me in football. She was like, you're going to play football. And as I got older, it just kind of became the sport that I liked the most. I still love baseball. Baseball is probably my first love as a sport. But as a player, I was at my best playing American football over other sports. And I've tried them all: track, powerlifting, basketball, tennis. I took a tennis class, made an A because I was so good at it. But for me, American football is a sport that, like I said earlier, it challenges me. I feel like a lot of other sports, I know where I stand. I'm never going to be tall enough to dunk. I can touch the rim, I can jump high, but as I get older, I can't jump high. There's nothing for me in basketball, you know. I can hit it and throw a little bit, but baseball, I'm limited. Football, even at my age, damn near 40, I can play football. I can play, if I had to, line up out there, kicker, and just kick, you know? Or maybe I just go stand on the side as a receiver and run dummy routes. Like, there's always a spot, always something to do. I think that's why I've gravitated towards American football, is that it's all inclusive. Everyone can be a participant, no matter of your genetics or mental capabilities. We have dumb players and smart players. So that helps me understand that's why I want to play American football.
Yeah, in America, as you guys know, America is like the top G sport. So my brothers played it, so I played it. And I think without my brothers playing, I probably would eventually played it anyways because we played it for fun in the neighborhoods, in the streets, in the grass, wherever we could.
I do sideline pop.
Yeah, we did sideline pop.
All right.
You want to explain sideline pop to them simply?
Sideline pop means that there's no out of bounds. So if you try to run out of bounds with the ball, you can still be hit.
Yeah, and you can. And sometimes when you we play throwback tackle. They call it. What would you call it? I know some other people call it cross the curve.
We call it kill a man.
Yeah, that's where it's like every man for himself. So sometimes you gotta, if there's a sideline near the concrete, you gotta confirm if it's sideline pop or not. Or at least in Maryland, that's what we did. Or I ain't gonna speak of all of Maryland. My part of Maryland, we did that.
Where I'm from, if there's concrete on the sideline, like we have grass here, then there's like a sidewalk, you better not run near that sidewalk. Because you will end up scraping, cutting. Somebody's going to throw you into that cement. That's just how it was.
Yeah. I mean, so simply, that's why I played American football. But I did actually play another sport in high school that I was really good at. Wasn't basketball, wasn't baseball.
Wrestling.
I did wrestling, and I love wrestling. I actually love wrestling as equal as playing American football, to be honest. It's one of my favorite sports, but when I was in high school, I know I placed in nationals, and some schools started sending me letters. I was like, man, this might be an opportunity for me to go to college, you know what I mean? A different way in. But I was like, professional football. There's no professional wrestling.
You could be on WWE.
I don't even want to do that. I ain't want to do fake wrestling.
The Rock.
No.
Do you smell it?
So that's why I still continue to play, American football.
That actually, I'm gonna segue in this before we break. But do you guys have wrestling here?
No.
No.
Not after school. Like wrestling is like not a small sport anymore. At least in Copenhagen, there's like a kind of a lot of like combat sports.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily the combat sports, but wrestling actually is very similar to American football. Kind of like what Alpha said, a lot of players from the up north part in the States have a wrestling background. Like in Texas, a lot of football players played football, ran track, maybe played basketball. Up north, a lot of football players also were wrestlers. Some of the best like linebackers, running backs, defensive linemen, offensive linemen that I've met in the world have a wrestling background. Just throwing it out there that if you ever go to the States and they have a wrestling team, just try out, see how you like it. A lot of it comes back to be something that can help you. Similar to, I don't know if y'all know, I'm an LA Rams fan, Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
He practices like his moves, and there's a guy with like knives trying to like chop him, and his defensive moves. That's basically wrestling. You're trying to get the defender off of you. When you're wrestling, you're trying to get leverage in different angles, so it usually translates. So I just want to throw that out there in case you guys didn't know that wrestling could be something that could help you become a better football player in the future.
Yeah, man, it was great talking with you guys. This was fun. I'm enjoying coaching with you guys tomorrow and having fun. Let's have a good practice tomorrow and have a good experience. Enjoy it tomorrow.
All right, that's it. Appreciate you guys. Y'all get out of here.